All right, Omar. So I'm going to go over both of these problems with you. For long division, or fancy math term is this is a standard algorithm for division. Fancy word that just means like it's the process in which you're doing division. So I want you to remember like a little saying that we went over class to help you remember the process, which is, does McDonald's serve burgers, right? And each letter stands for something, which I know you know is division, multiplication, subtracting, bring down, then repeat. So we're going to use that to help us through this process. So the first step in this process is always division, which is what the D stands for right here. So what we're doing is this number that's located underneath this division bridge is called the dividend, or the number that's being divided, and it's being divided by this number on the outside, which is called a divisor. Fancy word just means this number 6 is dividing this number 42 thousandths. So the process that I always think about is I actually use my fingers to cover the numbers, and I always go digit by digit. So starting with the first digit, can 6 fit inside of 0? Or can 0 be split into 6 pieces evenly and you'll get a whole number? And the answer is no. So I like to keep a placeholder. So I always put a 0 on top of the 0 to say that 6 cannot fit inside of that 0. And you see that decimal, what you do in your quotient or your answer is you just line your decimal up from the dividend to the quotient. So this decimal lines up exactly right here. So then as we move over, we see there's another 0. So we say, can the 6 fit inside of 0, 0, which is worth 0? And we already know that 6 can't fit inside of 0, or 0 can't be split to 6 even pieces because it's nothing. So we're going to put another 0 there. All right. So next we move our finger over one more time, and we have 4. So we say, can 6 fit inside of 4? Well, 6 is actually bigger than 4. So for this process, we're going to still say no, and we're going to place a 0 on top of the floor to show that 6 does not fit inside of 4. So now we're uncovering the last digit, which is 42. And we say, can 6 fit inside of 42? Well, yeah, 6 can fit inside of 42. And we know that it can fit inside of 42 7 times. And the reason why we know that is we know 6 times 7 is 42. So now that we have done the division step, we said 6 can fit inside of 42. That's the division step. We go to multiplication. So what that means is whatever number we get up here, we multiply by the divisor. In this case, it's 6. So 7 times 6 is 42. So we write that underneath. Then our next step is subtraction. So we find the difference between 42 and 42, which is 0. And we don't have anything to bring down, so we don't have to repeat. So for this problem, we're done. So 42 thousandths divided by 6 is 7 thousandths. All right, so that's for the first problem. Now we're going to come over here to the second problem. And again, we're going to use the same process. All right. So first we're dividing digit by digit. We see, can the 2 fit inside of the 3, which we know it can. So we're going to place a 1 here because we know 2 can fit inside of 3 one time. So that's the division step. Then the M is multiplication. So we're multiplying that 1 times the 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Then we move on to the S, which means subtract. So 3 minus 2 is 1. Then we move on to the B, which is bring down. So that means we are bringing down this 4, right? So next we repeat. So we go back to the D, and we're trying to figure out how many times 2 can fit inside of 14 this time. So 2 fits inside of 14 7 times. So we're going to take that new 7 and multiply it times the 2. So 7 times 2 is 14. And now we're on subtract again. So we subtract 14 minus 14, which is 0. Then we're at bring down. So again, we have this decimal here. we always put the decimal and our quotient in the exact same place that it is in our dividend. But we're on the bring down step, so we're bringing down this 1. So, can 2 fit inside of 1? Well, not really. So we're going to place a 0 here. All right. Then we're on multiplication. So 0 times 2 is 0. And then the subtraction. So 1 minus 0 is 1. Then bring down. So we bring down the 6. All right. So it's our last step. How can 2 fit in 16? Yes, it can. It can fit in 8 times. So 8 times 2 then, because we're at multiplication, is 16. Then 16 minus 16 is 0. So we have successfully solved this problem. Hopefully this is helpful. All right, good luck. Bye.